Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah, it's amazing being the first to open this thing. Yeah, nothing awkward. Anyway, my name is Vasilis. I came here 3 years ago to do a PhD in chemistry. And recently we submitted a paper, so that's the work that we did. And what we did is we compared human experimenters and algorithms of how they explore the chemical space and which one is better. Now, of course, when you write a paper, when you try to publish your work, what you try to do is you try to sell it, right? So instead of saying algorithms, you said robots. So yeah. So what happened was you had humans versus robots. There was a lot of debate. Several reviewers actually were a bit frustrated. So one of them I remember was asking, among the authors, is Siri there as well? I was like, yeah, just next to Cortana because they're good friends right now. And yeah, what happens? These people are confused. And this thing, like, went back and I see this whole process called publishing. And there are two bits, right? First, you write your work down. It's called a manuscript. And much fancier, it's called a paper because they used to write it in a paper. Not anymore. And the second bit is called reviewing. So what happens is you send it away to some fellow scientists, which will take a word and rip it apart. Sorry, what I mean is they will judge it, criticize it, improve on it, and gossip about it. The first bit, right? The writing your manuscript. You write a draft after draft after draft. At some point you say, okay, I had enough. So, please, supervisor, can you have a look at this? Can you see what's going on? Is it okay or is it not? And you wait for your feedback. You get your feedback. And yeah, it's what you see is some superscripts on the text. There are some subscripts on the below bit. There are some erased sentences all along, reshuffled paragraphs everywhere. You go, okay, that's a nightmare. And then you have a second look, right? After the first, being scared. You see comments. They're everywhere. I mean, they comment words, sentences, paragraphs, full stops? I mean, what's wrong with the full stops? They're not full enough. And then you realize that they're kind of breeding themselves. Comments give birth to other comments. I mean, there were comments of the comment for the comment, going back to the initial comment, commenting the full stop. And then what you do, you just log yourself in the office and try to improve on it and try to make better figures and try to make better stuff over there. Second bit, round 2, reviewing. As I said, some fellow scientists out there looking forward for your work. Now, they try to be impartial, okay? I have to be honest here. They try to be impartial and they try to understand what you're doing. But they're still humans, And then it came in 3 flavors. First one is the good guy. Then is the ugly. And then is this bad. The good one is you want these people over there because they help you. They give you some nice feedback, give nice ideas. You work on them, It's okay. The bad one. The bad one has a general philosophy that I can summarize as fuck all. The manuscript is there on the table, looking at them. They are looking at the manuscript. They don't do anything. Just they look at each other for a while. And then 30 minutes just before the deadline for the paper, they just write a really, really fast email. They say, about that, it's a bit too technical. How about you submit it in another paper, a journal called X or whatever, and that journal has been dead for several decades now. I have resurrected it, and coincidentally, I happen to be its editor-in-chief. I told my supervisor, he was like, I'm not submitting to Lazarus. Okay. No. Then you have the ugly. The ugly, the ugly. I call them PRBF. That stands for Permanent Resting Bitch Face. Their motto? I'm not amused. They're just unimpressed by anything. They just look at you like, you know, a grumpy cat or something. Mine was a bit picky. He didn't like colors. He didn't like the colors in my figure. He said, he said, it's a bit kitschy. Kitschy, in case you don't know, means flamboyant, but not exactly flamboyant. I was like, okay, fine. What exactly you don't like? I mean, is the deep purple magenta fonts that I use? Is my shiny emerald green tables? Or my warm hazelnut brown points in the graph? Just help me out here. I want to like improve myself. Yeah, anyway, and then what you do all these things, and then you have your work out there for other people to read, criticize, and gossip about it. Now you're gonna say, why do you bother? Why do you go through all this process of writing and then publishing and all this stuff? I mean, except of trying to communicating your scientific results, that's the official reason, and vanity, which is the unofficial reason. The reason is funding, because the more you let people know what you're doing, the more money you get. So what happens is that all the journals are not the same in chemistry, on other sciences as well. So there are some that are on the top, like Science and Nature, and then you have like a scale all the way down. And imagine like having on top Guardian, and then on the bottom maybe the Sun. Although now that I think about it, the Sun has a high impact, but for the wrong reasons. So let's go for the Clyde Journal of Fishery. That creates an impact over there, right? So an impact is how famous you are, how important people think that you are. Is your impact small, like the mosquitoes falling in your pants right now? Or is it huge, like an asteroid falling on Earth and, you know, annihilating civilization? And what happens is that your supervisors always try to get more data. By the way, they're also called PIs, that means principal investigators. And yes, they're like a fucking lab police looking for more data. And the bigger they are and shinier they are, the more attracted they are to it. Anyway, to be fair, to get all this funding, they have really many ideas. Okay, a lot of things are going on in their mind, and what they try to do is get you to understand what is going on. But as I said, the thoughts are so super condensed, and what it happens at the end is they just get some keywords out. Like he shows up one day in my office and he said, chemistry, solutions, flying saucer. What do I have to do with it? And then it's like saying here, like, you know, chemistry, Pride Club, jokes, and thank you very much for your attention.